Aloha, y'all. Daniel Aaron with you. Thank you so much for tuning in. I can feel already some discomfort in me. So, cool. That's a good sign, right? I am in a process of sharing with y'all some of the great blessings I've had in my life from different teachers, mentors, guides, coaches. I recently, quote, came out of the closet with my title of Reverend 31 years after ordination. And there's a whole story you can look in the description about why that is and what prompted me to do that if you like. In any case, though, this is just a great honor for me to appreciate the amazing beings, some of the amazing beings who helped me along the way. So now, discomfort around other people's sexuality. Ooh, good golly, that could mean a lot of different things, right? So here's what I mean about it. 1998, I had been living in Spain. I heard about this amazing, cool, radical center in Holland called Humaniversity. Really didn't know much other than my friend Ketan had said, yeah, really good and intense. And, you know, and I hear that there's an emphasis on sexuality there. And I'm like, ooh, that sounds exciting, scary. So a few things happened. My time with the group of chain-smoking witches on the psychic fair came to a sudden end, and let's go! So I booked my time at Humaniversity. And the time I booked was going to be 2 weeks, what they call the tourist program, deep dive immersion. I knew next to nothing about it. Fly there with my friend, and we had like an all night. We had a full night in Denmark, and we were silly. We were riding the high of being on this psychic fair and being like, you know, woo-woo rock stars. We go out to a bar in Denmark and we drink all night, and then we're like stumbling to the airport in the morning. I'm not bragging, by the way. I look back and I'm like, what an idiot. And I'm being honest, though. And then we somehow make our flight to Amsterdam, and then we get on the train, and the whole while I'm like, oh, thinking to myself, man, I hope you just get a good nap when I get there. Well, that was not in the cards. We get finally to Humaniversity around midday, and then it's like series of intake interviews, and then an HIV test with blood, right? And I'm like, okay, this is strange, weird, never done that before in this kind of setting. And then we start into the group that night, and there's a lot of waiting around, and I was there for 2 weeks. There was also we arrived on a Friday, so there was a weekend group starting that Friday evening, and you know we didn't know really what was going on, but we waited. The group started that night at like 11 p.m., 11 p.m. I don't know. And they told us what we're going to do, and it was this intense, incredible process called the OM meditation, AUM, Awareness, Understanding, Meditation. And that's another story for another time. My jaw hit the ground when they said and demonstrated what we're going to be doing. I thought I had done intense work before, but I was shitting egg rolls, no kidding. Like, this was scary. Not that I would have admitted it to myself or anyone else at that point. However, we go into this thing, and I'm a good student, and I'm cheap, as in, at least I was in those moments there. I paid my money. I'm going to do what they tell me. And so I did my best. It was like a 6-hour process, 14 stages, or maybe that was early when they were doing 13 stages of active, intense, strong. Like, by the time we finished it, I had completely soaked through all of my clothing. I had screamed, I had cried, I had laughed, and I was just like, what's happening? Where on earth am I? What have I done? What have I signed up for? And then we get to the end of the process. Now it's like 5 or 6 in the morning. The sun's coming up. I guess, I don't know, we're in this room and the windows are all blacked out. And they say, okay, so here's what happens now. You're going to get a little bit of sleep. I'm already like, what does that mean? We're getting a little bit of sleep. Then, right before that, though, you're going to take a shower. And then pause a moment. It's like, and showers are always better with other people. And then a lot of laughing. I'm kind of like, and I knew already like the shower rooms were like big rooms with a bunch of different shower nozzles, faucets, whatever they're called, right? So kind of a group shower thing. Weirdly enough, it reminds me of images like from the Holocaust, right? Group shower rooms. And I knew already that where I was sleeping was in, you could call it a dormitory, but not in the usual sense. It was like, it was a big room, bigger, yeah, even bigger than this room. And this is a pretty big room. So I don't know, 40 feet by 40 feet, something like that. And on 3 of the walls, like a U shape, were bed spaces. Bed spaces meaning because there was one and then another. And each bed space was separated from the one next to it by a little piece of plywood about, I don't know, 2 feet tall. So if you're laying on the mattress, and each bed space had a mattress, if you're laying on the mattress, you couldn't see the space next to you. And the space between the edge of the mattress and the next space, or the partition, was, I don't know, 6 inches maybe, which is all to say there were a lot of mattresses. There was a lot of space. They were all open from the front, which is, again, to say there was no privacy. Visually, there's a little bit on the sides, but not much. And you could, look across to other open spaces, and auditorially, certainly no privacy. So I already knew that. And thank goodness I had a bit overcome my fears about being nude in front of other people by that point. So we go up to take the showers, and I'm just like, I just want this to be over with. And I don't know what I mean by it. Like that night, for sure, I hadn't slept in 2 days. I'd already gone from drunk to hungover to cleared up from that to this intense, physical process, physical, emotional, spiritual process. So I go into the shower. I'm like, I'm not talking to anybody. I'm putting on the bubble of invisibility. I'm like a warm knife going through butter. I'm just like in, shower, clean, brush my teeth, go into my bed space, and I'm like, oh, thank God. Thank goodness I can just go to sleep now. And I lay down, and I love to sleep on my side, kind of like this, and I get in my comfy little position. And then, from the bed space next to me, I hear whispers, first whispers, right? There was a couple in there. I'm pretty sure it was a man and a woman, and they were being quiet, respectful when they're whispering. And then I hear, well, better I don't try to imitate it. Heavy breathing, let's put it that way. Heavy breathing, getting heavier, and then moans. And, so quickly I'm fully aware that literally 2 feet away from me is a couple having intercourse. And I had never experienced anything like that before. Maybe you have. Maybe this is ordinary. To me at the time, it was not ordinary. And so now I'm laying there, and I was like so tired, but now I'm totally awake. And I'm both turned on, jealous, annoyed. That's both. I know that's 3. I was all those things. I'm like, and this was my first experience there, right? My first night there. And eventually, I don't know if they concluded or my exhaustion took over. In either case, eventually I did fall asleep. And the next thing I knew, they were waking us up, and we were on to our next process. I think we slept like an hour that night. And that was the beginning of my experience at Humaniversity. I recorded a video like this, a live stream yesterday, where I talked about the therapeutic pleasure sessions that was part of what they did for us at Humaniversity. And, let's see. Can I put on here the comments section? Oh, yeah. Okay, good. So why do I tell you all this? What does this have to do with honoring my teachers, my mentors? Because, I was on a mission and still am on a mission, both for myself and for those I serve, to help foster and create freedom. Freedom, liberation, moksha, samadhi, enlightenment, bliss, whatever name you put on it, the peace that passeth all understanding. And from the time that Spirit first whacked me upside the head and said, look, dude, there's a lot more to the world than you've been seeing, I realized that is most important. Awakening, realizing the truth of who I am is most important. And so, discomfort, fear, challenge, it's in the way, right? And certainly for me, my insecurities, my judgments, my fears around sexuality, around my own body, around asking for what I want, around being able to say no when I thought I was supposed to say yes, all of those were in between me and realizing the truth of who I am. Now, there are other things, right? Even the beginning of this conversation, okay, it's a monologue, unless you chime in, feel free. It's a monologue at this point, and if you're watching by rebroadcast, feel free to chime in that way too. And across the illusions of time and space, we shall communicate. So at the beginning of this, I chimed in by saying, yeah, I'm a little afraid of saying this, which is part of why I'm doing it. So, what is it for you? I'm curious what this little story does for you, right? Does it provoke curiosity, judgment, fear, judgment of me, judgment of you, judgment of that situation? Because these are awesome to discover. They are the things that tend to get between us and who we really are, between us and freedom. So, what is it for you? What comes up? What's interesting? Questions, comments? I welcome it all. And if you'd like to have a conversation, explore the possibility that I can help you to create more freedom in your life, to create more of what you want in your life, awesome. I would love to connect. I'd love to have a conversation. So, no cost for that. Just send me a message, daniel@danielaaron.com, and we can have a conversation. Y'all, thank you so much for tuning in. I love that you are interested in more vibrancy and freedom in your life. That is beautiful. I love you. So thank you again, and